Well, this is a developing story and one that you'll be hearing about throughout the day today. It's one concerning Nandipha Magudumana and her co-accused, which are applying for bail in the Bloemfontein Magistrate's Court. The doctor, former G4S employees Senohe Matsoara, as well as Tebogo James Lipholo, allegedly assisted murderer and rapist Thabo Bester escape from the Mangaung Correctional Center in May last year. Lipholo is the technician who oversaw CCTV cameras in the facility. Our reporter Moloko Moloto is in Bloemfontein and joins us now for the conversation. Moloko, thank you so much for your time. Welcome to the morning show. Let's talk a little bit about what the sentiment is like on the ground. What are we witnessing, the atmosphere and the people that are like before court proceedings? Take us through.
Good morning, Faith Mangope. Well, we expect the court to open its doors at 9 o'clock. Usually magistrates' courts start their business of the day at 9 o'clock. And of course, Nandipha Magudumana happens to, usually she arrives through this particular gate. If I were to step out, as you see that gentleman opening it, she's going to use that along with the other accused and the police who are on standby, obviously, to make sure that there's order. The last time when the accused appeared here, there was, some curiosity with the onlookers, people who just were interested in seeing what was happening, not only inside the courtroom, but also out here. And we know that Nandipha Magudumana will be transported from the Biza Makheta Correctional Center in Kroonstad. This is 200 kilometers away from where we are as you are going the direction of Johannesburg. That is where she is being kept. And of course, up to so far, it doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of pandemonium even outside, unlike in the past. But I must point out that the security, particularly the police as well as the traffic officials, they seem to be on high alert. They are, directing vehicles and they seem to be in charge.
Sure. And on the other side of it, of course, you had the opportunity to visit the correctional service facility in Mangaung. Talk us through exactly what you saw, because from what we understand, there's a call to actually fire the management there.
Well, we went there yesterday. Interestingly, Faith, you would recall that today marks the 1-year anniversary since Thabo Bester escaped from that particular facility. Actually, one professor of criminology, Kolofelo Rakubu, says we should stop saying he escaped. She says this man walked away with the assistance of the facility's officials. And that matter obviously is under investigation, ongoing. It's not surprising that we are seeing the officials, some of whom were on duty on the night. Thabo Bester was assisted to leave that particular prison, and the police continue to say that they are not ruling out the possibilities of more arrests. So what is happening is that we spoke yesterday with one gentleman, Murui Mpao, and he once worked there as an official. He worked there for about 10 years and he has since resigned. He told us that he believes that the senior managers of that particular facility must be criminally charged, saying that they are fully aware of what has happened. And even as after that particular escape happened, they really did not do much about it. They did not institute an investigation. And he's saying that he's mobilizing the members of the community to stage a march, a protest outside that particular facility. We don't know whether the police are looking into people in higher places, considering the fact that this particular case of Thabo Bester has really caught the attention of not only South Africans, but also people the world over, considering the elaborate and the daring escape of Thabo Bester. And of course, on the other hand, there's a family that has lost a son who was used as a decoy, whose body was burned in that particular cell number 35 where Thabo Bester was at, and that process assisted him to escape. We understand that the funeral of the young man will be held this Saturday, and they definitely are seeking answers, considering the fact that he disappeared in March last year, and on this day last year, it turned out that Thabo Bester escaped from that prison facility.
You know, Moloko, I also had a conversation this past weekend with Golden Miles Budu, obviously representing the rights of prisoners in South Africa. And he was adamant that when it came to the privileges that were afforded to Bester within that correctional services facility, it was unheard of. From what we understand, he used to go from section to section to section, absolutely free and free roaming, because in that place, as he was putting it, that it's all about the currency. The money is the one that talks. When you went to visit, was it business as usual? Did it seem as though security was further tightened? Did it seem as though that even the people that were serving their sentences had a different feel about them? Because as Golden Miles Budu was putting it, it seems like this guy, even within Mangaung, was having the time of his life.
Well, I must point out that as media personnel, we couldn't go inside the prison facility itself. We were outside speaking to that gentleman outside the prison facility, understandably so, because it is a high-risk area. But the issue of Thabo Bester having enjoyed privileges, it's a matter of public information now. We have seen reports indicating that while serving his life sentence, there were times when he was allowed by the prison officials to spend weekends outside at luxurious hotels here in Bloemfontein, where he would spend a week or a weekend with his girlfriend or partner, Dr. Nandipha Magudumana. Those are the benefits that ordinarily as an inmate you would not have access to. We know that it emerged during the parliamentary inquiry that Thabo Bester had access to a laptop, and the argument there was that he was studying, and as a result, prisoners who are studying do have access to laptops. But as I was speaking to somebody yesterday, he actually said, when these people say that Thabo Bester was studying, can they give us evidence? Can they provide evidence? And I really think that is what we must do now. Approach the authorities and say, given the fact that this man did not have an ID, what exactly was he studying? Of course, they mentioned the name of the college. I think it's incumbent upon us now to go to that particular college that is known and ask them for the records of Thabo Bester, because if indeed he was not studying, that would be another indictment on the part of the prison facility for having allowed. But as you read the reports as well, Faith, you will understand that this man also had an access, allegedly, to a cell phone, as well as a wristwatch, a Rolex watch, that apparently when after the body was burnt inside his prison cell, one of the inmates who was made to clean while the body was still there realized that actually the body did not have the watch, and Thabo Bester apparently at all times was wearing a watch. And that's when the bell started to ring on the side of that particular inmate, because he realized that actually the body was even shorter. So a lot actually has happened there, and you will also know that reports are indicating that Thabo Bester left that particular facility wearing a G4S uniform for the security personnel. So definitely he was assisted. The big question therefore is, what was in it for the officials who assisted him? Could it be that they were paid? And all that information, of course, we anticipate that it will emerge, especially when the trial commences.